with Bishop Dale C. Bronner.
Here's the sixth definition of wow. Going beyond normal or conventional bounds. Going beyond normal or conventional bounds. Here's the spiritual parallel. Demonically inspired. Lack of balance and temperance. Pushing everything to excess. When you say, boy, that child just wow. 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 There's some people that are just wow. They just got a wild nature. They're just, some people's in their sexual behavior, they're wild. There's no other way to describe it. I know that you're saved and sanctified and you don't want to talk about this. But they're just wild, unrestrained, no boundary, lack of temperance, pushing everything to excess. You all know the person. Touch your neighbor, say, I know that person. That are just wild. Just everything is in excess. Just wild. Some people are so adventurous. They just push the envelope. They push the envelope. I was looking at a video clip of a young man. He's bungee jumping off of a building. And the folks who measured the bungee cord didn't realize that the building didn't have a 13th floor. So they were on the 14th floor on the roof of the building, and they measured it a story too short. They made it longer than what it was because even though the elevator button said 14, there were only 13 floors. So it was too long. And when he jumped off to bungee jump, he hit the ground. He was wild, pushing it to the limits, but he didn't make it. And there are a lot of times that you don't recover because wildness will have you on the edge of doing dangerous things that have no consideration for your safety, and there is no purpose in it. If you died for purpose, that's one thing. But when you die and there is no purpose in the death, oh, that's another death. Here's the seventh definition of wild. Loose from restraint or regulation. Loose from restraint or regulation. And here's a spiritual parallel. Is people who have no vision. Proverbs chapter 29 verse 18, where there is no vision or no open revelation, the people cast off restraints. They go wild. Whenever you see wild people, you'll immediately know they have no vision from God. They are not walking according to their vision. They are not walking according to their vision. Now, one reason that Pyram exists is because people are untamed and undisciplined in their spirits. I mean, Galatians chapter 5, verse 16 and 17 states this, I say then, walk in the Spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusts against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary to one another, so that you do not do the things that you wish. So one of the reasons that we fail to walk in the Spirit as we should is because we've confused walking in the Spirit with doing church stuff. You're walking in the Spirit every time that you discipline your children, every time you go to work on time, every time that you pay your bills on time, every time that you do what God has told you to do, you're actually walking in the Spirit. But King Pyram is nothing more than your carnal mind. That is the carnal mind. He's the wild donkey, always wanting to rebel. He's the wild donkey. He's the carnal mind. Pyram rules in us because we have not met most of our basic needs of our human personality. People who are wild are missing something, and they're wild because they're looking for something that they're missing. Remember that to be whole means nothing broken, nothing missing. Nothing broken, nothing missing. Now I want you to look at some basic needs of the human personality. These three major basic needs of the human personality. Number one is the need to be loved unconditionally. The need to be loved unconditionally. What that provides for us is security. God loved Jesus before Jesus ever preached one message or before he healed him. God loved him and approved him. You remember there was a voice from heaven that spoke and said, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." God loved him before he ever even did anything. In ministry, you don't base your love on your children based on their performance. Please don't ever do that to your children. Don't love your children because they bring home good grades. Don't love your children because they always clean the house and they always clean the kitchen, because they do this, and you equate their love with performance. Their love is an unconditional love that a parent ought to have for a child. You love them because that's your child. You don't feed them because they've done all the right things. Even when they've done the wrong thing, you still cook dinner. And so that's unconditional love. That's nothing that is more securing to a human being than for them to know that they are accepted in the beloved, mistakes and all, jacked up and all, rebellious and all, that you still love them. They can hurt your heart, break your heart, borrow money from you, never pay it back, but you still love them. Tell you they're going to do something and they won't do it. Tell you that they'll never do something again and they do it again, and you still have to love them. Anybody know what I'm talking about? How you have to love folks unconditionally. You have to let them know, you are my child. If you go to jail, baby, if you steal something, you steal mama's boo. That's still your child. That's still your child. I sat on a murder trial, and the man who had murdered 2 people, and I gave him a double life sentence, but he'd murdered 2 people. I'm for real. But his mama came in, and my heart went out when mama got on the witness stand. And she said, "He's a good child. That's my baby. He's a good child. He always ain't giving me a day of trouble." Tell that to his dead wife and the man that he killed. Tell it to that parent, to 2 sets of parents who are missing their children. And her heart, even though her son had murdered 2 individuals, this mother is on the witness stand expressing her love for her child unconditionally. She was doing what she was supposed to do as a mother. And that was something that was securing that, baby, even if I have to come on death row to let you know that you are still my child, I still love you, I birthed you, I'm still praying for you, I still love you. Even though you didn't do the right thing, I still love you, I got your back. That's unconditional love. When you have messed up, if human beings can do that, how much more is the incomprehensible love of God, that when we have messed up time and time and time again, and we've displeased God and we've been inconsistent, we went back on our word, and God loved us anyhow. We have displeased him, open rebellion against God, disobeying his word, living in sin, shacking, doing all kinds of things against the nature of his word, and God still says, "I love you." While we were yet sinners, he died for us because he was in love with us. Forever married to the backslider, making wrong choices at the wrong time with the wrong people, and God said, "I still love you. I love you and you and you. I love the big bone one. I love the one with freckles and the one with an acne problem. I love that one. I love the one whose teeth are jacked up. I love the one that's got a skin rash up their legs and whose feet are messed up. I love that one. I love the one who can't grow hair. I love that one. I love the one with piercings. I love the one with tattoos tatted up the front and down the back. I love them, I love them, I love them, who have got orange hair, purple hair, burgundy hair. I love you, I love you, I love. It is the love of the Father unconditionally, not based on anything that you did, not because you went out witnessing, not because you got up early in the morning to pray. It wasn't because you've been reading your word all day. God says, "I love you because you are mine." And we love him simply because he first loved us. Not because of the house that he blessed us with, not because of the car, not because of the job, not because we got the loan approved. We love him because he first loved us. It is the most securing thing that you could ever have, is the unconditional love of God. There's a need in every human being to be loved unconditionally. Number 2, we have a need to be valued. That deals with self-worth. The first step with security. The second one deals with self-worth. We have a need to be needed. a need to be needed. And that's why God gives us something of worth and value. There is a value that is in your life. You might have to dig for it, but there is a value that is in your life. God has placed great value in your life. It's not always on the surface. Most of the time you have to dig for it. You will never know the talents that are in people right around you if they didn't tell you. You can't look at a person and tell what kind of gift they have in them. You don't know what kind of, you can't look at a person and tell when they can sing. Some people have fooled me. I mean, some people come up to me and I'll tell them, I say, you know what, you built like you can sing. And then you know what they tell me? They said, I can't sing a note. I can't carry a tune in a bucket. You can't look at people and tell what they're capable of. You have no idea whether a person has an artistic gift by looking at them. You can't tell a musician just by looking at them. They don't have a certain look. Well, some of them do. But you will honestly be surprised. You can't look at people and size them up and tell what they are and what they do for a living. You don't know what kind of gift might be all around you, and folks can't look at you and tell what you're capable of. You can't look at a person and tell when they can throw down in the kitchen. You just really don't know. But there's something of worth and value. We have a need to be valued, to be able to provide something that is meaningful to others. So while others might not be able to do everything that I do, I can't do what others can do. And I need their gift. I need their gift. I honor their gift. I respect their gift. I value their gift. Even the people who collect the garbage at your house. If you ever stop valuing them and the service stop picking up your trash, you don't realize how valuable that service is. Listen, everybody's not designed to be a CEO and to have their own business. Otherwise, when you go to a restaurant, who's going to serve you? You go to a hotel, who's going to clean your room? Everybody has a gift of value. And let me just tell you this, God doesn't create not one person, He doesn't allow one person to come into this earth who has no value.